Clearly there that the Hustler Fund has adopted the risk-based lending system there. Now, still speaking monies is that the National Treasury is expected to table a 3.6 trillion shillings draft budget for the financial year 2023-2024. According to the draft budget policy statement, the government plans to spend 2.5 trillion shillings on recurrent expenses and 769.3 billion shillings on development.
This year's proposed budget of 3.6 trillion shillings promises to deliver an economic turnaround and inclusive growth. The draft budget for the financial year starting July will be an increase of 251 billion shillings from the current 3.39 trillion shillings. The draft budget focuses on agriculture, micro, small and medium enterprises, housing, healthcare, the digital superhighway and the creative industry. Kenya Revenue Authority has been tasked to collect 3 trillion shillings in the financial year 2023-2024, up from 2 trillion shillings collected in the last financial year through implementation of various tax policy measures and development of a national tax policy to further boost tax collection. According to the draft budget policy statement, the government plans to spend 2.5 trillion shillings on recurrent expenditure and 769.3 billion shillings on development. To bridge the budget deficit, the government plans to borrow 720.1 billion shillings, out of which 198.6 billion shillings will come from external borrowers and 521.5 billion shillings from the domestic market. This will reduce the fiscal deficit to 4.4% of GDP. The national government will take the biggest share of the cake at 2.25 trillion shillings. Executive is projected to receive an allocation of 2.1 trillion shillings, Parliament 40 billion shillings, while Judiciary has been allocated 21.9 billion shillings. The government plans to spend 991.3 billion shillings for repayment of domestic and foreign debt, interest and pensions through the Consolidated Fund Services. Education is expected to be the bigger gainer in the proposed budget at 597 billion shillings, followed by energy, infrastructure and ICT sector at 422 billion shillings. Health budget has also been reviewed upwards from 122 billion shillings to 154 billion shillings. Agriculture, rural and urban development has been allocated 75.6 billion shillings to facilitate attainment of food and nutrition security, agro-processing, employment creation and utilization of the blue economy. Wairimu Jenga for Prime Edition.